Hi YouTube, this is Evie. Welcome back to my channel, and today I have a video for you all, and I'm going to be talking about puppy play. I've talked about pet play a lot on my channel. I have a bunch of different videos talking about different pet play activities, collars in pet play, the history of different kinds of pet play, but I haven't dedicated a video just talking about puppy play by itself, and so that is what I want to do during this video. I've had a couple people ask me different questions about puppy play that I'm going to try and answer in this video as well. But I'm just going to kind of be giving a general overview about how puppy play is different from other kinds of pet play, how to incorporate puppy play into your lifestyle, kinds of puppy play scenes, different kinds of puppy play dynamics, and hopefully you will find this video enjoyable and entertaining. Kind of a brief overview of puppy play. If you want to see a full video about the history of puppy play, which is, of course, not necessarily a complete video because there's a lot on a particular subject I'm not familiar with, you can go ahead and click on the description, links down below to my other videos about it, including a video all about the history of puppy play. But basically, puppy play has its roots in the leather community, specifically the gay leather community, and it's still very much a part of that community. It is a huge scene where I live and in many other parts of the United States and across the world, be that leather puppies or rubber puppies. Also, excuse any noise you might be hearing. We're having breakfast right now. My sir is in the background eating. But basically, we started as a part of the leather community and specifically the gay leather community, and still very much rooted in that. And like other forms of pet play, it is also very much based in humiliation and degradation. So being lower than your dominant in the scene, and the degree of humiliation and degradation that you do as part of puppy play varies person to person, and it is totally up to you. If you don't want to have degradation or humiliation be part of your dynamic at all, that is perfectly fine, but it is historically rooted in that kind of play specifically. Personally, puppy play comes really naturally. It is just something that is, I always say it's been a part of me for forever. Like, it's just something that I think I wanted to have part of my relationships for the longest time, but I didn't really know how to put words to it or like how to describe it. So for me, puppy play is very natural, but I know for a lot of people it's something that they discover after trying out other kinds of pets and then figuring out that that kind of personality doesn't really fit them. With any kind of pet play, regardless of what you think of stereotypically as like how a cat acts or how a dog acts or whatever, you can bring your own personality to that role. You can be a very like stereotypical, loyal, like kind of stupid but still kind of like innocently troublesome dog kind of character. You can be aloof like a cat. You can be really super cuddly and loving. You can bring any kind of personality that you want to puppy play. I think the thing that should determine what kind of pet you want to be, not necessarily what kind of personality that you have, that can be helpful for determining what kind of pet you are in general. But just because you are like very aloof and you like your alone time doesn't mean you can't be a dog instead of a cat. Like, I've had dogs, I have personally owned real dogs in real life that act just like cats. Like, they crawl on top of furniture, they don't want to be touched or petted, they just want to do their own thing, and they want to get food from you, and that's the only thing that they want. No tricks, no anything like that. But generally speaking, puppy play does draw in the kind of people who have a very like sort of specific personality or a very like specific desire to do certain things within their pet play dynamic. And I think personally, along with pony play, it is a style of play that lends itself really well to service and to learning different kinds of skills and different kinds of tricks. So basically, with puppy play, you can do just about anything that you want. You can learn how to pull carts like a pony. You could learn how to be a guard dog or a service dog of some kind. You could learn how to take your slippers or a newspaper to your owner. You could learn all different kinds of tricks. Any kind of trick that a dog can learn, you can probably learn how to do as a human, be that sitting, staying, rolling over, any kind of the traditional sort of obedience tricks you can learn as a human. And I will make a whole other video talking about just training and tricks and all that kind of thing. But it's something that I think is more common in pony play and puppy play than it is in, say, kitten play or some other kind of animal. Now, when it comes to actually starting out in puppy play, there are a few things that I think are sort of universally helpful for a lot of people when they're getting started in doing puppy play. And this can really go for any kind of pet play, be that a kitten, a pony, a ferret, whatever you are, you can use these kinds of items as well. But I think they are more traditionally associated with dogs, so it makes more sense to do it as a puppy player. So those items would be a collar, a leash, and a bowl. I think those are sort of the three things that you need. If you need anything at all to do a kind of pet play, it would be those three, because you can do so much with that. A collar is, of course, symbolic of the fact that you are submissive. It can be specifically symbolic of the fact that you are a puppy and that you are owned. It can be used in play for any other kind of reason. Like, you can use it for bondage as well, if it is the kind of collar that allows you to do bondage with it. You can get collars that are specifically made for real pets. You can use leather bondage collars. You can use ribbon collars that are bondage proof. Like, so much variety out there. Leashes, you can use leashes for discipline. You can use them to learn how to walk on a leash as part of a scene. It's just generally something. It happens actually in like general BDSM as well, like the idea of leading somebody around on a leash, but I think it takes on a very specific meaning and like a specific connotation when it happens as part of a puppy play scene, because you take dogs on walks, you lead them around on a leash. Like, it has a very like literal meaning, I guess, in puppy play is what I'm trying to say. With bowls, I think, I don't know, I've always kind of used bowls as part of puppy play. For me, I think they're a really great way to do something very simplistic. You can eat out of a bowl with a fork and have it just be like a dog bowl. You're eating out of a fork like a regular human. Just, you don't have to worry about getting your face messy. Or you can go out and only eat from, bowls of water and bowls of dog food. Of course, not real dog food, simulated dog food, because let's not poison ourselves here, people. But that is something I think are sort of really easy things to get that you can use for puppy play. I think sort of what sets puppy play apart from a lot of other kinds of play, and I talked about a little about this earlier, but I've had time to think about it, so I'm kind of still processing it as I'm making this video, which maybe isn't the best idea for a video, but we're gonna go ahead and do it anyways. Is I think puppy play, more so than any other kind of pet play, has roots and a desire to be behaved and be trained and be submissive. I think kitten play lends itself more to being bratty. I think pony play has a very much a almost exhibitionist aspect to it that maybe isn't present in puppy play. I think puppy play has almost sort of innocent motivations for a lot of people, more so than other kinds of play that can be more, brat focused or exhibition focused, which you can totally do that with puppy play as well. But in my experience, I think puppy play just comes from like this really like deep, honest place of wanting to be a good dog and how to be a good dog. And that's something that's very much a part of my dynamic and like why I'm in puppy play. And if that's not your reason, that's fine. But I think for most people that I know that are into puppy play, it's about like, I want to do these things, make my owner happy, be called good dog, get pets. Like, it's very very innocent, and I think that's very cute. You can take it to like a really dark, weird place too if that's your jam, but I think more so than other kinds of pet play, it lends itself to that for like, what motivates a dog? That is my same motivation as a human for wanting to be a dog. And I think dogs are just cool. Dogs are fun to be, for sure. I would highly recommend it. When it comes to actually setting up a puppy play specific scenes, and it's kind of hard talking about this in one video, and I do have a whole video just talking about pet play activities in general. Links down below if you want to watch that. But there's just so much variety that you can really do with puppy play. I mean, it's just really the limits of your imagination. You can do something as simple as just, again, eating out of a bowl, being walked on a leash. Those are super simple, super easy. I think if you're interested in starting in puppy play and you've come from a place where you've done kitten play before, you've done other kinds of pets before, but you want to see how being a puppy specifically works out, I think there's a few kinds of scenes you can do that are really simplistic that are I think different enough from other kinds of pet play that'll sort of give you a sense of what it's really like. And walking on a leash, that can happen as a cat and doing other kinds of BDSM like I talked about, but I think it does have a specific connotation when you're just doing it for puppy play. I think additionally, things like playing tug or playing fetch, very much unique to puppy play. I think for the most part, if you were to throw a toy for a cat, they'd just be like, what the fuck? Like, why did you throw that for me? I don't want to go catch that. Whereas dogs are like, oh my god, I must go and get it now. And even if you can just kind of like fake it and not really throw it, like basically do the same thing you do with a pet dog and do fetching. You can do trick training. I think this is a bit more advanced, especially if you're just starting out in puppy play and maybe your dominant doesn't have experience doing puppy play before. But it is something that you can do that, again, I think is relatively unique to puppy play, although pony play does have a lot of similar training aspects to it that I think are actually more intense than puppy play would be, just because training a horse so much more difficult and specialized than training a dog. But You can do trick training. You can eat out of a bowl off of the ground. Now, again, you might do that as a cat as well, but I think Puppy Play has like specific dishes, specific kinds of food that you would give versus the kinds of food you would give a cat. Caging is another really big thing. If you don't own a cage, and most people don't, I'm very fortunate to be able to have access to one. But you can definitely do things like caging. You can simulate caging in a number of ways, even if you don't own one. It's actually relatively cheap. If you go on Amazon, you can get like an extra large, like Great Dane size, like wire cage that like collapses and foldable, so you can put it under your bed or in a closet when you're not using it. I think those are like 30 or 40 bucks. They're actually not that expensive if you get them online, especially if you have Amazon Prime, because you get free shipping. You can get that. You can do a caging scene where either you've done something bad and you're being put in a cage as punishment, or you're just naturally relaxing and you're getting put in a cage because that's what happens. And different pet owners, both in real life and in pet play, treat cages differently. Sometimes people will put their animals in cages when they've been bad and they've misbehaved and they're being punished, and it has that connotation to it, which is not recommended, especially for real pets. I think generally the better thing to do is to have the cage be the safe space and have that be like the relaxing space, like the space the pet can go into and relax, refresh themselves, take a nap. Now you can take that different directions. You can get like a really like small like cage that's like too small to be comfortable in at any point, and you can do that kind of play, or you can have it again be the extra large size dog cage with lots of room to spread out, lay down, take a nap, stuff like that. Another thing that you can do, in addition to having a cage, and maybe you're claustrophobic, you don't like a cage, or you don't have space for a cage, you can also just get like a padded, like thicker, like foam dog bed. I actually have one at my sir's house that I use, and you can have that be in front of the fire, in front of sir or owner's desk where they do work. So that way you can just sit down and relax next to them in the same way that a dog would. And then as a very casual way to do puppy play. You can do this for cats as well. Again, most of these things can also be applied to other kinds of pet play. Something else that you can do with the collar and leash is you can actually be tied up, and you can take this in a number of different directions. Like most things, you could have it be where you are tied up to your owner or sir's desk, and then when they go to leave, you are expected to obey and stand in that location. You could kind of simulate it to where you are being tied up and being left outside while they go to a store. You could have it be where you, and this will depend on where you live and if this is okay or not, but you can also be tied up outside. Don't do this for long periods of time, especially if you're doing it in the summer, because you don't want to get heat stroke, but you can do something like that as well. You could also do, and this is not necessarily something I recommend for people who are new to puppy play and maybe are kind of trying to find their pup identity, but you could also do things like fox hunts and other kinds of dog related hunting where you have like a big group of people. Usually there are owners and handlers. There are ponies and horses, and then there's a fox that the ponies and puppies are chasing and trying to find, and it's sort of a combination of race slash obstacle course. So it's kind of like hide and go seek, but sort of advanced and in the woods and BDSM. So you can give that a try if you want to, but those are just a very general overview of types of scenes and types of play you would incorporate as part of puppy play. You can, again, use your imagination, combine these things, don't do these things, do things I haven't mentioned. Like, it's really up to you what you want to incorporate in your particular pet play dynamic and in your particular style of puppy play. Now, of course, there is also the subject of treats and the subject of food that you can eat as a puppy. And I've talked about this briefly in a couple of my other videos, and I am going to be making an entire video just dedicated to talking about different kinds of treats that are edible for all kinds of pets. Things like canned chili, other kinds of sort of like canned meat related products, depending on what your dietary needs or dietary restrictions are. It can be a great substitute for a wet dog food. For dry dog food, I usually recommend cereal. I think my favorite personally is Cocoa Puffs, because they're little, just like little brown balls, and so they look a lot like sort of stereotypical like dog kibble. Again, I cannot say this enough, don't use real dog food. Real dog food, not safe for humans. Even if you ate dog biscuits as a child, don't do it now. It's not good for you. Your digestive system is not meant to handle the same things as a real dog. There's also a lot of human-safe dog-related treats out there as well. Most of them are homemade. I will link some recipes to ones that I like down below if you guys want to check that out. But generally, they are really, really simple. They're like applesauce, oats, flour, salt, mixed together and then like baked in an oven for like 40 minutes at like a really high temperature and like some kind of shape, be that like a circle, dog bone, whatever. And then once they're dried out, they're like a hard biscuit and you can use that. There's also a bunch of like smaller treats that you can use. You can use like little granola bites, you could use Swedish fish, you could use any kind of like candy or a sugary sweet. I wouldn't recommend doing that all the time and having it be like your usual treat to do that, because gummy bears are really good, but you can only eat so many before you get sick of them. Trust me, it has happened. It's not good. Now, when it comes to actually wanting to be a puppy and like getting in the mindset to do these kinds of scenes, it's hard to give specific advice because it's so individual. And again, for me, it's very natural to like go into sort of a puppy-ish mode because it's very much a part of my personality at this point. So like while we were in the hotel earlier today and I was walking to the bathroom, I just got down on all fours and I grabbed a piece of paper and I tossed it around in my mouth for a little bit until I got tired of it, and then I like decided I was going to be a human again, and then I stood up. So for me, it's really natural to kind of go into a dog-like mode, and I think the more puppy play or pet play scenes that you do, the easier it will be to sort of naturally access that form and kind of have it be part of your dynamic on like an everyday level. I would sort of recommend just sort of, like most things in life, like most things in BDSM especially, just sort of easing into it, doing sort of very small scenes, start to associate specific things with pet play scenes. So for example, having a specific collar and a specific leash that you use and that are only taken out for when you do puppy play scenes, not something you use for other kinds of pets, not something that you use in your everyday BDSM dynamic, but something that is specifically meant for a puppy play scene. You can do the same thing with ears, you can do the same thing with tails, you can do the same thing with balls, you can do the same thing with clothing, any sort of article around you that you can use to associate your mind with puppy play. When those things get presented to you in the future, you will start to sort of automatically kind of go back and your body will sort of remember the puppy play stuff that you did before and associate wearing those items or having those items being used on you or with you or whatever with puppy play, and so it'll be kind of easier to access them when those items are around, and it also sort of keep you from going into sort of a puppy mode at inappropriate times because your mind is wired to only do it when those specific items are present. And just kind of take things slowly, do small scenes, so just have it be one thing, like for example, like go and get my slippers, then you have to crawl on all fours, get the slippers and bring them back, then the scene is done. And once you start to do more scenes like that, like going and getting slippers, getting a newspaper, you know, playing with a tug toy for, you know, 5 or 10 minutes, and then learning how to do tricks and sort of building up to longer and longer scenes, because it can be kind of hard to, and I'm going to make a whole video about this, kind of just how to make pet play genuine. It can be hard to kind of stay in that mode if you're not used to it for very long periods of time. So kind of doing short bursts will help you work up to being able to do longer scenes, like 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 15 minutes, 30 minutes, an hour, 4 hours, however long, and different kinds of activities will make it easier for you. You'll find as you're doing scenes to be a pet. Some will just not jive with you, and some will be really great, and you'll kind of figure that out as you start to actually practice them and do them, like what actually appeals to you about doing pet play, and you know, sort of what motivates you to do it, what kind of scenes that you like. Kind of just like anything else in BDSM, really, you'll sort of figure out where your tastes are and sort of why it's appealing to you in general. But that's really the advice I would give sort of about starting out and getting scenes. Now, leaving scenes, sort of ending pet play mode is going to be kind of the same as going back in. So having the collar and leash taken off, being commanded to stand rather than being commanded to sit, having your owner, your master, your dom take off the clothing you're wearing that you associate with pet space, having your tail and your ears removed. I would say it kind of depends on who you are as a person. Like for me, I can kind of go in and out of it like really easily, but some people, they have to do it really gradually because they go so deep into that mindset that if they come right back out, it's just like instant sub drop, or it's just like their brain doesn't really like, they can't go from like dog brain, human brain like very easily. So when they get into dog brain mode, you have to kind of bring them back out of it slowly rather than just yanking them out of it, if that makes sense. And that would depend on your personality, and I can't really give too much advice to the effect of being able to slowly draw somebody out of pet space, but I think sort of in the scene, reintroducing human elements of everyday life to them, like sort of slowly removing the different articles that they associate with pet play, putting the bowl away, presenting them and speaking to them in the same manner as you would a human, rather than in a dog form, or sort of draw their conscious out from that dog mode back to human mode, if that makes sense. But yeah, that is an overview of puppy play and how to do puppy play. I have so many other videos talking about pet play. I have a ton. So if there's anything that I didn't cover in this video that you guys are wondering about, please feel free to leave questions in the comments down below. There's like an 80% chance that I will just redirect you to one of my other videos where I've answered that question before. Again, I have a ton of videos, so I will link some down below if you guys want to watch those. So I talk about, you know, how to figure out what kind of pet you are, what pet play is in general, what motivates people to do pet play, history of different kinds of pet play, different kinds of pet play activities, like all that stuff. If you guys want to know more about those things specifically, links down below, as well as all of my social media in case you guys want to follow me. I have an Instagram, have a Patreon, I got this YouTube channel. There are a bunch of different ways to contact me if you want to interact more. If you did like this video, please give it a thumbs up. If you haven't already, please do subscribe if you want to see more. And until you see you next time, have a great rest of your day and a great rest of your week. Bye-bye.